back, what was that like?
Early on, it was a bit tedious because I was like, right, how can I match my 75 grand salary?
Yeah.
And I broke it down, go, right, 75 grand, what does that look like in clients? So if I'm charging, I don't know, X amount of money, how many clients do I want to work with to make that 75 grand or more? Let's say 100 grand.
Yeah.
If I'm charging $2,000 per client to make 100 grand, that's 50 clients. You know, 50 clients to make 100 grand. Fuck, that's heaps.
Yeah.
It's one a week.
Yeah.
But I'm only working one full day and then maybe half day of editing, as opposed to 5 days a week plus, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, no, 50's worth it.
Yeah.
And then my business coach that I met later on, who's actually a friend of mine from school that he used to live with me, Kieran, big shout out. He said to me, what's your sales pipeline? And this was like end of 2020 after COVID. I was like, 12 months. He's like, you're booked out for 12 months. Double your rates. No, triple your rates. I was like, triple them? What the fuck? He's like, do it.
What's the worst that can happen?
What's the worst that can happen? So I did it. 4 weeks later, I had 3 bookings. And I was like, what?
So you get 3x the amount.
6 grand.
With this nothing different.
No, well, I added
I mean, like, obviously.
I added a bit of value, but the value was more kind of just my experience, new experience that I accumulated. But then all of a sudden I'm making 6 grand. I'm not making 100, I'm making 150.
Yeah.
I've doubled my teaching salary within a year.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Seva Show, sponsored by Hunt and Brew, the coffee that doesn't taste like shit and has not much added sugar at all. And we've got a guest, KOREE, on the show, and we're flipping the script. He's going to take the mic and he's going to ask me questions.
The opposite.
So KOREE, introduce yourself and take it away.
Hello everyone, my name's KOREE Davies. I'm a high performance coach, work with men primarily. My background's in chiropractic, and essentially I work with guys to optimize the mind and body for continuous success. And that's essentially why I'm on here today, mate. I'm seeing where you've gone, where you've come from, and a lot of the guys I have on the podcast, they've done similar things, reached a certain level of success, and the goal is to ask certain questions about your journey and some of the obstacles you've had to go through, and hopefully the audience listening is going to be able to take something from that and implement it in their own life. So yeah, I really appreciate the opportunity to come on here today. Awesome setup, and I guess we'll get straight into it. So tell me the start. So you were a teacher. How long were you teaching first?
So I graduated
career
2017.
Yeah.
And I was told early in 2017 you need to start volunteering at schools, and I got into that a little bit, started to put my resume out and stuff, you know. Once I finished my final prac, that meant I was technically qualified to teach, and I could start getting paid. And I remember my first relief lesson was at Mater Day College, a private school.
Yeah.
And before I graduated, and it was such a surreal moment. It was sick. And it was my one and done. No disrespect to Mater Day, but the whole private school thing, I was like, is this what private schools are like?
Yeah.
So I left that and was like, yeah, public school for me, thanks. And graduated, and then, finished all of my complete units by the end of 2017, and was already doing relief lessons. And I did that. 2018 was a big hustle because I was all of a sudden competing against my uni friends who all graduated and are looking for the same jobs.
Yeah.
But everybody that wanted a resume or something, they just said, just email it through. I refused to email it through. I always printed them out, which is such an old school thing to do these days. And
it's appreciated though.
Yeah.
They really see
I would go out to them, sometimes unannounced. I just go to the admin and say, can I talk to your relief coordinator? I'd like to catch up with him or her. And a lot of the time they weren't there, or they were just like, just leave it on the table. They didn't care, which is great because it was a filter for me. They didn't really care of new people coming in. They had enough. They were comfortable. But then I had one lady, Maria, shout outs to Maria O. She worked at a school called Balladura Community College.
Oh, yeah, it's down near my way.
Yeah. And I remember walking in, and the principal walked past, and the principal did a double take, like, fuck, he's pretty tall. And I met her, and shook her hand and stuff, and that presence, you can't do that if you just email your resume.
I thought you were going to say, if you're not this tall.
No. Yeah. Well, then I was like, surely they're going to think, fuck, he's taller than every teacher we've ever had here. We need to see how he goes. Yeah. He's going to be a good asset. So they gave me a crack, and they say they give everybody a go. Yeah. They're fair. And within a couple of weeks, I had goals. Like, I wrote down goals for the start of my career. I was like, I'm going to see how many days in a row I can get relief lessons. Like, gamified it almost, like an Xbox achievement. Like, bloop, achievement unlocked, got a whole day of relief. Bloop, achievement unlocked, 2 days in a row. First hat trick. And I named all my goals, like first hat trick, first full week, first fortnight in a row, first term. And I had all these goals written down. And I was like, this is going to take some time, whatever. By the end of the first term, I nailed all of the goals. Because I had contracts done, I had 2 week stints, and then the third term, they gave me a contract. And then by the fourth term, they offered me a second contract for the fourth term, which is unheard of, because teachers are at a surplus at the end of the year because there's no year 11s and 12s. So they don't need relief. They just do it all in-house. They gave me a contract. And I was like, man, I'm doing something right. And then there was a job opportunity at another school, Joseph Banks, and it was a maths permanent job. And I was like, I'm going to give it a go. And I had a mate working there already in the maths department. And by chance, the head of maths was a Romanian lady. And I'm Eastern European as well. I'm Russian. So we had that connection from the start. And it was pretty much a walk-in job. I mean, there's so much more behind that I'm not going to get into. But I was a permanent teacher within the first year of graduating. So that was kind of my story of how I did that. But moral is, show yourself out, put yourself out there in person, and make yourself known, make yourself memorable, do something different to someone else. You'll stand out. I literally stand out. Yeah. But then I got to back that up.
Yeah, you got to keep it up with it.
It's good to have the talent or the appeal. Yeah. But if you're full of shit, you're just a big tall bag of shit. Yeah. So people take advantage of that and they bullshit. But I like to back myself up because why wouldn't you?
So you started 2017. You're on this journey of going to becoming a teacher. You're setting goals. You're going out doing stuff that's different. You're not doing the standard, and because of that, you achieved what you were essentially going out to get. Yeah. So there's a lot of things there I kind of want to unpack. Like, where did you get that? Because me being in the personal development industry, I've done the last 8 years. This is the stuff you get to when you look at all the successful people, they're following this. So like, where did you kind of get these habits? You could say that's a habit. You don't just like get that and wake up. Like, before teaching, did you do like sports? Like, what was kind of where did that goal setting come from? Or do you have any like 2 to 3 mentors that you can contribute that to? Yeah.
Sports, I was in the waffle for 7 to 8 years, played for Subi and for West Perth. The career was a bit of a roller coaster. Started out slow, didn't really have the grind, the attitude for it, because I was doing a lot of other stuff like personal training. I had my own business there, and I also was doing all these other things at the same time. Nothing's changed for that, but I think formally I got my habits from when I was a kid, and I was doing anything I could to make money. I was doing raffles and stuff, and I was selling lollies at school and around the place. I was doing fundraising for myself, and just like go to the deli, buy some lollies, and go resell them.
Why was there? You just wanted to build something? Were you like a creative kid? Yeah. Like you liked doing stuff. Would you say maybe even ADHD that's getting tossed around a lot now?
I don't. I don't.
Because I did a lot of the same things, like did heaps of different random businesses. Like
No. I think it's because I wanted to have money that my mum didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I wanted to have that freedom.
See that streak of rebellion and
So like I would go down to the shops with $5 and I'd buy a whole big block of Cadbury chocolate and I would eat half of it before I felt sick.
Yeah.
But my mum didn't know of my activities. And so I would like, well, what the fuck do I do with the rest of this chocolate? It's already melting. So I like throw it away. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I did. And then anytime I'd ask my mum for stuff, she's just like, she'd say more so no.
Yeah.
So
Maybe.
I kind of, so I was like, fuck it, I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
And the sooner I learnt that, the easier it was for me to hustle, to go, well, fuck. And she never like told me to make it yourself. She just told me no. And I just
what am I going to do?
forced myself to do it. I loved how like the chips at the fish and chip shop were like $2 and you get a whole like a whole feed, you know.
Yeah.
It wasn't healthy, but still, you know, like I would go there on my bike and I'd go to the park with the bag of paper newspaper chips and just eat it and be like, $2? That's $2.
Fuck.
What the fuck, you know? But yeah, there was other times where later on in life I would play video games online.
Yeah.
And online they had online assets that you could trade.
Yeah.
And those trade, like there was early days, early 2000s times where I could trade that for money.
Yeah.
Figured
I did
out
that in
PayPal.
RuneScape.
Literally that.
Yeah.
So there was a game called Habbo Hotel.
Yeah, me too.
I played
the
that.
gambling ones, with the thrones and man, they were going for a lot, eh?
Exactly. So I had a whole setup. I had all this furniture in the game, and I exited the game for about $3-4 grand.
Yeah.
And I spent it on more food. I bought an Xbox 360. I got a guitar. I got into more playing guitar, music. Yeah. I wish I spent that money on video, like a video camera, though, like for myself, because my mum had a Sony, like one of the first alpha Sonys, and I always wanted to just film shit with it.
Yeah.
But just didn't know what to do, and I didn't realize back then that I would be here right now. But that was the formative years of me going, that's something that I enjoy doing. But then my self-awareness grew, and I'm like, fuck, I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah.
But my mind was on like guitar and Xbox, and that's fine too. But now I still play guitar.
Yeah.
I don't play Xbox as much.
I actually play as well. That's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And I got into footy cards, and I bought a lot of AFL football cards off eBay, and I started a pick collection for my guitars. And every second week at the shops, they had Doritos and the Dorito dip on special. So every second week, like clockwork, I'd get that food. 30-pack cans of Coke. Yeah. I got kidney stones once so much because the whole holidays I was playing Call of Duty and hydrating with nothing but Coke. Yeah. And I got fucking kidney stones.
How old were you during this period?
Like 16, 17. Yeah, I fucked it.
Them
I
formative years,
it. Yeah. But then all I was doing at that time was being a lifeguard after I finished school. Yeah. And doing local footy and playing games and hanging out with my mates in the early adult life of clubbing in a country town of Kalgoorlie. Yeah. You know? So I just made do with what we had. But I knew I wasn't long for living there before I had to move out. So, I mean, looking back at it, I wish I'd spent that money on better things, but
always 2020.
As a child, I got to experience so much more than a lot of kids because I figured shit out quickly. It's just anytime I get into something new, I would be like, how do I do it differently? Yeah. How can I do it my own way? Nobody else is doing it.
What's that, do you think?
I don't know.
Like, have you just always had that streak in you?
Yeah.
Like, I just, honestly, like, fuck the normal. I just, like, I don't want to do that. Like, that's what everyone else does.
Yeah.
Type of deal. Like, you've just always had that?
Yeah. Better is subjective.
Yeah.
Differently is also subjective. Yeah. But if you do it differently and it works out to be quicker or, you know, better use of your time, then that's great for you. Yeah. And then the way that the market sees it and goes, oh shit, that was innovative or that was disruptive, and they like it, away you go. You can do that in any industry. Totally. So it's like, I look at it like this: you're a naive expert when you come into a new field. You have all these random ideas about the concept or the industry, and you go, well, can you do it like this? Some people go, nah, that's not how we do it. But then you go, why not? And then they go, oh, because this, and that. So you look at that picture and you go, well, that fair enough. I've just realized why it's not done like that.
Yeah.
Or hang on, but what if we tinker this and still do it that way? All of a sudden, you've come in with an innovative way to...
But first you need to have the courage to pick apart what the...
Not many people have that courage.
Yeah. It takes so... And that's what I've experienced, like, doing... I'm similar to you. I've done a bunch of different things. I worked in a gym. I did, like, a sales training thing. Did a cologne subscription service. Me and my mates ran a retro Habbo hotel server back in the day. So I've tried all these different things.
Yeah.
And especially, I guess this is a good segue into like what we're doing now. Like when you're teaching and going online, like I know a few people like personally that are kind of, they see the value of having a personal brand and in the new world that we're going to have. Like we're starting to see that with businesses and like, you know, consumers, they've already 56% of the time, or at least last time I checked, have already made up their mind about the products they're going to buy because they go online, they search it up. So when it's like putting stuff online and having it more personalized, like that takes a lot of courage to put yourself out there and put yourself up there. So like when you're teaching and you're seeing, you know, the kids getting on TikTok and you're like, oh, what's this? And you've got this, I know you've got that, like, oh, well, what can I do with this? Like, I know that's how your brain, you're like, you see this as an opportunity, right? Is this like, oh, am I getting that right? Like you saw TikTok and like, wow, this is huge. Like all these kids, you're like, I feel like the children and like the youngins are the first adapters of this technology. Is that what you were like kind of thinking? You saw that and then you just started messing around with it and tinkering?
Do you know why, how I discovered TikTok? Have you heard that story?
We were in class and yeah.
So before that, I was always trying to figure out ways to get the attention of the kids, to have the rapport with them.
Yeah.
Whether it's Minecraft talk, Fortnite talk.
Yeah.
They're into fidget spinners for a bit. Yeah. And my sneaker collection was all time. Always worked.
Yeah.
I figured out that over 50 pairs of shoes, which gave me one fresh pair of kicks per day for a term, because there's about 50 odd days in a school term, give or take. 10 weeks, 5 weekdays, give or take, you're sorted. So that was the first kind of innovative kind of thought. I'm like, different sneakers, let's see how long they figure out that I wear different shoes.
Yeah.
Every school would have been roughly between 1 or 2 weeks before they sussed it.
Yeah.
And it was great. So then when TikTok came about, I was like, oh, here's another Vine, here's another Snapchat, much like when Snapchat was a thing and then Instagram pivoted and created stories. I was like, fuck, I don't need that. Snapchat. But then I was like, well, it's all in one-stop shop. Totally. And I stopped using Snapchat. Yeah. So because of that observation, I was like, it's going to be the same with the kids. They don't want to use Facebook because all the adults use it and they don't want to be on there because the adults are on there. It's uncool. So they have their own thing. I'm like, sweet, I'm putting myself into that. And I didn't think much of it at first, at all. Like
just for fun.
I tinkered, not even for fun. I just tinkered with it and gone, I don't know.
You seeing what is it? What
my mindset at the start was I can't be fucked.
Yeah.
And now the mindset's changed. Anything new, I want in.
Yeah.
I want in straight away. Yeah. So, but back then I evolved and because I was obsessed with Vine for a bit, like with my mates, and it was just
you kind of saw that.
Yeah.
That early stage Vine. Yeah. Okay. But I didn't get to use that.
They evolved Vine. Like TikTok was a better version of Vine. They had a few more innovative things.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's do that and put it out permanently. And at the time, TikTok was still only 15 seconds. You couldn't do 30 seconds or 60 seconds.
Which is what YouTube Shorts is now.
Yeah. So, you can only do it. And when they upgraded to 60 seconds, it was revolutionary. I was like, sick. I can tell a story in 60 seconds. You know, much better than Instagram's 15-second thing. And everyone was competing about that. And I found that the 30 to 60-second window was perfect. But before that, I was just pumping out random shit.
Yeah.
Just random shit
like
about
dogs,
myself.
Things.
Yeah. Yeah. And like if you scroll all the way back, 3,000 videos worth over the last 3.5, almost 4 years, you'll see I was just fucking around completely without a care. And then I would start sticking to the things that my audience enjoyed more of, and I'd start pushing that out. But I never stuck to the same theme because I would get bored of it.
Yeah.
Never.
Which is a recurring theme I can tell from
Most
you doing all
influencers-
these different things.
Yeah, most creators and influencers, when they find a niche
Yeah.
that their market also likes,
Yeah.
they stick to it for as long as it takes.
Yeah.
That's wrong. I think once your market gives up on it and you still love it, you're fucked because, you know, or if your market still loves it but you don't like it, you're more fucked because you're a circus performer. You're like you're
just
shackled
locked
to
in,
that one
the
niche.
golden handcuffs.
No thanks. So I've always focused on being my own niche.
Yeah.
Me is whatever I do, you know, and it will take longer to get that right. I'm 3-4 years properly into it. It may take another 2-3 years depending on how I structure it or strategize with it. Logan Paul, Mr. Beast, all those guys, they did a lot of entertaining stuff.
Yeah.
Now I'm moving into the educational stuff or
Right.
edutaining stuff.
Yeah. Information business.
Information. But like it's to help the kids that are growing with me.
Yeah.
The young kids are coming in and they want to consume entertainment.
So is this is a big driving factor then? It's still the kids. 'Cause stems from
Anybody. And that's a hard thing to do too.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a specific one age group of audience that I want to tinker to. I want to tinker to everybody.
Yeah.
But that's very hard to do because, you know, one minute I'm talking about, you know, what school life is like, and another minute I'm talking about, you know, being in my 30s, and it's not applicable to the younger audience.
Yeah.
And
To some audience.
yeah,
But not
and I don't want to have multiple channels either. So, you know, people can be hearing me talking about this now going, what the fuck? No,
Yeah.
you need to niche. I'm
Yeah.
like, I get bored so quickly. Much like I get bored in my careers over the last 10, 12 years now.
Yeah.
I haven't stuck to the same job for longer than probably 5 years.
Yeah.
Personal training was the longest thing I've done so far. Still.
Yeah.
Longer than teaching. And that's because
Did you keep doing that through when you were just getting your studying and you're getting your relief work? You was just doing PT?
so I started PTing when I was 21, I think.
Yeah.
21, 22.
Oh, what gym were you out of?
I was out of a gym called Healthy Life
Oh, yeah.
in Whitford's.
Yeah, okay.
Whitford
Is that the one that
Shops.
turned into Good Life?
I have no idea.
No.
I have
One of them,
absolutely
yeah.
no idea. So the story behind that was my first personal business, like proper business. I was a labourer working out of Malaga, and I was sick of my shit.
Yeah.
I was sick of that grind. I'd get up 6 o'clock, and I knew the minute I had to be in the car to get there by just before 7 to walk in on 7, so my supervisor wouldn't fucking tell me off, you know. And he told me off the minute I was late, which is like looking
Fair
back
enough.
now,
Makes sense.
Fair enough. But back then I was like, fuck this shit. But that was like an early clue that I didn't know at early. I was like, I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
It took me a year to go, why the fuck am I putting up with this? Every day I was working, it was the same. Like the whole week would click and I'd be like, weekend, footy.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it's Monday again for months.
Yeah. Hell.
And then one
No
day,
man's land.
and one day I was in the car on the way home and I heard this personal trainer become a personal trainer through this 6-week course. And this is before everybody else wanted to be a personal trainer. I was like,
what year was that?
this was like 2010, 2011.
Yeah, definitely.
And I got on it and did my course, did my thing. It took me a lot longer than it should have because I was lazy and I was complacent and I had footy and a whole fucking pocket of excuses.
Yeah.
But I did it, and then I took the leap, and this gym that I went to normally, I was just going there as a regular member.
Yeah.
And I bumped into a guy called Ben Hoffman. Shout out to him. And he was a personal trainer there. And I liked the way he presented himself and how friendly he was and how approachable he was. And I was like, hey, I'm about to finish my PT thing. Can I join you? And he open arms. He took me under his wing. It was amazing. And I started to build a clientele from there. And the structure was a client would join the gym, and then they would get 2 to 5 sessions for free, half hour.
Yeah, as part of the
package. And we would have to, as trainers, do that.
Yeah. And you have to do the upselling after.
Yeah. And we didn't get paid for it either.
Yeah.
And I thought that was fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
because, you know, I'm working for free. But then, you know, again, hindsight, I'm like, well, I've got, it's not a hand-me-down, but the only thing was I was paying overheads as well, overheads and working for free, so I didn't see the value.
Yeah.
Like, it's a bit of a trigger here, but I still kind of, you know, hated that model, and but it drove me to hustle more.
Yeah.
I got some clients, and the big thing that happened was, I don't remember when or how many months in. I think it was within a year of working there. I had a really good month, and the owner upped my rent by like double.
Oh, big slap in the face.
And then the next month, it was fucked because I went back down, but he kept it at that rate. And I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So
Did you have a short chat to him about that?
Well, mate, it was hard because this owner, he's military, like hard ass.
You're still young, up and coming.
Yeah, he had no fucks. He had no empathy. We found out later on. Someone said to me, this isn't me talking about him, but someone said to me he had some issues in here, in his head, and I was like, fuck. Well, that makes sense. But like one of the time, like probably 5-6 years ago, when I was talking about him to people, I'm like, this is one of the people I hated the most in life. But I look further now as I've matured. I'm like, I've learnt a lot from him. And not because he was a good person, but because of the resilience that I think mostly everybody left because of him anyway. But what I did was I was like, fuck it. I'm going to start my gym in my own house. Yeah. I went to Bunnings, got the jigsaw fucking things, the jigsaw mats. Yeah. Found some kettlebells. Mum gave me her own old dumbbells. I went on eBay and found like a shitty bench press rack thing. I got pictures of it somewhere, and I took all my clients with me. I didn't give a fuck. He said I couldn't do it. I was like, I don't give a fuck. What are you going to do about it? Yeah. There was no contract signed. Yeah. So I left that, and I think I was at about $3,000 in debt. Yeah. Like I owed him $3,000 worth of rent. Yeah. And I remember one email he said to me, "Why don't you sell your car?" I was like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, I'll sell my car. I'll get rid of my transportation that I need for footy." And with the waffle, I had to go everywhere. Bassendean, fucking Mandurah sometimes. I'm not going to sell my car. You fucking kidding me? Just to pay your rent. But back then, and I had my fucking car debt as well. That was fucked. So I was real fucked. Yeah. Real fucked at the time.
Just those early 20s experiences, eh?
Yeah. But the reason why I survived was my parents, my mum specifically, she let me live in her investment house. Yeah. They lived in Kalgoorlie still, and I didn't pay rent. I had to take care of the house, which I didn't do a good job of it early on because it was all party mode. Yeah. But eventually I had to maintain it, clean the pool. We had a fucking pool. Bane of my existence. Look after the garden, and I got better throughout the years. Yeah.
Life skills increase.
Yeah. Having to...
Level 99 life skills.
All these life skills you learn in your 20s that you don't learn if you stay with your parents. But because I lived in the investment house, I also had 2 spare bedrooms. So I pimped them out to people. Pimped is a bad word to use in that example, but you know what I mean? Yeah. I had housemates, and I collected that rent for myself, which was my saviour at the time. So I was lucky. Yeah. I was very, very lucky. I'll never forget that.
Yeah. Do your parents know you were doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. That's all right then.
They just said, don't fuck it up. Yeah. And I learned so much by doing that. I had a housemate. His name's Lee from England. Shout outs to Lee. He's a chef. Yeah. He was the best housemate. But I went through probably 8 to 10 housemates before I got him. Yeah. Because everybody else was an absolute nightmare. And I was a nightmare probably at the start. I probably did some shit, you know. But man, like when you are the man of the house or responsible, or your name is on the lease, or your pure responsibility, you've got no room for fucking around. Yeah. And that's the best life lesson I learnt from having that responsibility with that house. But going back to when I started the gym that's when the money really started coming in. Yeah. At the peak of it, I think
So this was in Kalgoorlie?
No, this is here.
Oh,
here. This is in Perth. At the peak of the of the business, I made $50,000 as a full-time uni student.
That's
no
wicked.
overheads.
Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
How many clients do you have?
I think I was doing about 40 to 50 sessions a week.
Yeah, that's full on too.
Yeah.
Like, because I used to work I was at Bailey Fitness for like 4
Yeah.
years. I was doing membership consulting.
Yeah.
I talked to the PT. That's a lot, man. Most of them were aiming for like 30.
Yeah, and this
30.
is before like all these random boutique
Yeah,
gyms
yeah.
started opening up.
Yes, it was like a flat rate. Like
Yeah.
rent was like $550. And yeah.
And I was not even like pushing hard on social media. I wasn't using social media
Probably
at all.
wasn't. It was probably weird back then with the social media.
Well, yeah, nobody was doing it. And
Yeah.
I wasn't utilizing Facebook. I had a Facebook page, but I wasn't really giving a fuck
Yeah.
because I was focusing on footy,
Yeah.
the girlfriend at the time, and also my university studies. I didn't have that time slot. Well, I didn't make for that time slot.
Yeah.
But I met one guy. His name's Dave, and he hit me up saying, "Hey, I can help you with your SEO."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What the fuck is SEO?"
Yeah, never heard of that. STD or something.
Yeah. And he told me about it, and I had a couple of these emails throughout the year, and I would just be like, "You guys are all scammers wanting to take my money." This one guy, Dave, he lives here.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's meet up. So we met up, and I said, how much? Like, come on, let's get to the bottom of it. How much? He's like, I'll do it for $100 a month. I was like, fuck. That's expensive because I wasn't making much before that 2015.
And you had no idea that it would even give you
300
value.
Yeah, 300. He goes, and it's not going to work until the third month, most probably.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck. It's a big investment.
Yeah.
So I was like, stuff it, I'll do it. Month 3 comes along, bang. I am rank 1 on Google, page 1, top. No advertisement, not in the sponsored thing, just 1 for the keyword personal trainer Perth.
Wow.
And I was getting fuckloads of inquiries.
This is when like Google ads were cheap.
Yeah. And like shout outs to Dave.
Yeah, wicked.
Sema, I think his last name is. He clutched it for me back then. And I was like, this is fucking sick. And I got overwhelmed because I was doing consulting because I'd still give someone a half-hour inquiry consulting session.
Yeah, like
at
as your
the gym.
sales call or
Yeah. And I had no experience with sales at all.
Yeah.
I just did the numbers. I just did a fuckload of. I had 3 or 4 new clients come in every week. Like, imagine living across the road from me. All these new different
is he a
cars.
drug dealer or something? Like,
Yeah, like, what the
uni
fuck?
student.
Yeah,
like, heaps of
he's
cars
doing some
coming in
dodgy
and
shit.
out. Yeah.
But thankfully, in my neighborhood, because technically in the residential area, you're not allowed to do that sort of stuff.
Technically.
My neighbours were like good, like cool. They were like all supportive. They're like, oh, he's at uni, he's doing footy. Oh, he's got his own business out of home. He's not doing fucking parties anymore. No, that's fine. And they thought it was cool, you know. But it's because I wasn't a piece of shit, right?
Yeah.
If I was still doing parties and stuff in the weekends, they would have shut me down straight away. But at the peak of it, I was doing 50 sessions a week, and I was thinking, fuck, do I open up my own gym now? And that's where I
and this is
discovered-
while you're studying too.
Yeah.
That's I'd love to go into that because I know, like, I've stopped my studies. I didn't finish. I'm like pursuing my stuff.
How old are you now?
25.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and going through that phase, like I actually know heaps of people that, like my best mate Josh, who runs his, business, he had the same thing. He was doing engineering, blah blah blah. But like, how did that like mess with your thinking a bit? Because you're going through uni, which is the way to be successful, right? That we're told anyway. And you get good grades, like you can get the job, then you earn an income, you can get some holidays per year, superannuation, and then you're seeing like your PTing just like take off, and you're like, I didn't technically have to follow that same path. How was your thinking around that? And I know you already did bits and bobs before, making money. So, but like during that period, did you have like it was like a clash of like what?
Yeah, there was a big clash. There was times where I needed to be at footy Monday night, either Tuesday night or 3 nights a week on the weekdays, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, I think it was, and that was in Leaderville.
Yeah,
and I lived in Padbury.
Yeah, true.
So I had to go there at 4 o'clock, get to training before for 5:30 start.
Yeah.
And you generally get there earlier to do your weights and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's why I was like, fuck this gym. I'm not doing weights for you guys. I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah.
Which was a huge, huge benefit to me because I actually did better because at the time Subiaco's strength conditioning was fucking shit.
Yeah. Wasn't really considered much back then. Hey,
No,
like
no,
it was like you do your practice.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was shit, and that's why they struggled for the years I was with them.
Yeah.
And then I left, and they started getting premierships, but they changed a lot of the stuff.
Yeah.
But I always said, like at the time, and this was my mindset. I'm going to go on a tangent for a second, but
Right.
the mindset back then was I needed to be included with the alphas, the alpha boys, the footy boys.
Yeah.
But I couldn't fucking do it. I had my business stuff. I had my uni stuff, and
Yeah.
I had a whole. I grew up with like my nerd friends.
Yeah.
I wanted to play video games and,
Yeah.
and do nothing but talk shit about nerdy shit.
Yeah.
So I never really got along with the boys.
Yeah.
And I remember leaving Subiaco and playing for West Perth. I had a much better time with West Perth because the guys aligned. They were a little bit more nerdy, even though they were still kind of alphas. But I always said I'd rather win the wooden spoon with West Perth and win the premiership with Subiaco.
Just
with the
because you
boys.
didn't mesh.
Yeah, because it didn't
Yeah.
mesh.
And
And now
was it
looking
like
back, I'm
not
just
you?
like, yeah.
Yeah.
Now looking back, I'm just like, I just wasn't the right person.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was looking to be accommodated. There's no time to be accommodated. You either do it or you don't.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You shouldn't be waiting for them to give you open arms and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's synergy in teams and that, but whatever. Going back to that conflict, that was the one big thing that was an issue at the time. And everything changed because 2014 was when I actually changed teams.
Yeah.
And that's when I left the gym to start my own thing.
Yeah.
And that's when I started uni.
Yeah.
So 2014 was huge. Like
Well,
huge.
what made you do uni if you were doing the PT and
Yeah, great question. So the reason I never
Feeling
wanted to do
lost?
uni. No,
Yeah.
I never wanted to do uni at all. I didn't think I could do it. I
Yeah.
didn't want to do essays. I fucking hate writing.
Yeah.
Like ChatGPT is
Like,
love of
how
my
good-
life.
we're definitely going to go there.
Yeah, we'll get there. But exams and stuff, tests, I hated that shit.
Yeah.
And assignments, I was like, nah, you know. But my girlfriend at the time, very intelligent woman. She had a ATAR of 99, and
Yeah, right.
she did a HR thing at uni at UWA, and she convinced me to go. And I was like, well, fuck, I didn't do I didn't do ATAR at school. She goes, you don't have to. You can do entry via portfolio because you have a Cert 4 in personal training. You're not a dumbass. You can go in there. I was like, oh, cool. So she helped me with that. I got in, and first year I was like, oh, this is all right. Didn't get the best scores, and then second year 2015, which was a complete write-off in a way, because I had an ACL reconstruction end of 2014,
damn,
so that fucked my whole footy career up for
Mentally
2015.
as well. Like you love.
Yeah, 2015 write-off. But I had time then to go, right, I am all in on my uni studies, I'm all in on my business.
Yeah.
Because I was working from home, even though I had a fucked leg, people come to me, I'd be sitting on one of the bench press benches. By then I had upgraded my setup, and I would just sit there and they would do the exercises, and I would talk them through it. I would instruct them through it.
Yeah.
So that was helpful. And then that's when I discovered I really wanted to get back into photography because, well, what else am I going to do on weekends?
Yeah.
May as well.
And so you say get back in, so maybe we missed it. You were into photography at some point.
Well, yeah, early on. Remember when I
you
said
played
in high
around
school?
with the camera, the Sony, your mum's. Yeah.
I always wanted to take photos. I always had a little point and shoot, but
Yeah.
I never had the money to get a bigger camera. So that's when my mum got me one, helped me. Shout outs to her. But 2015 was like a huge eye-opener. 2016, I got back into it. I got back into footy. I got back into the league side. And university third year was going well.
So you didn't stop uni at all throughout the time?
No.
Okay.
I have.
So even though 2015 was a write-off, you still were...
Well, actually, at the end of 2015...
You didn't withdraw for anything?
No. Well, I was withdrawn, but not from my own accord. So what happened was, end of 2015, second year uni, second semester, my first prac, which is some bullshit that they do at the uni for a 4-year batch degree. You only get to be in the classroom and have a taste test second year, second semester, which is way too late. Anyway, it's a pass-fail observation almost for 2 weeks, I think it is. 2 weeks, even 3. I think it's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
First week was all right. My mentor at the time, he called me condescending, and I couldn't recover from that.
Yeah.
And then 1 or 2 days before the end of my prac, my supervisor came in before that, by the way, and passed me in flying colours. He goes, "You're one of my better people that I've had to experience, had the pleasure to."
Sure, this like opposing sides then, hey?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But the mentor came in, and I wasn't even, he wasn't even my mentor for most of the time because he was head of PE at the time at the school. And I was doing really well with the other mentor that he palmed me off to. But when I was with him, the one lesson I did with him was a senior first aid thing. I fucked up. And I fucked up because I set everything up in the wrong classroom. I was there early, everything. I realized it was the wrong classroom later on. So I carried all these dummies and all these first aid things, boxes, across a whole oval. That's how the school was set up. And then he's out in the corridor sitting there. Go on. You got 45 minutes left. Make the most of it. I delivered it, did it, whatever. Anyway, we sat down later on in like a recess or whatever, and he sat me down and goes, "Yeah, nah, you're out. You fail. And I'm going to withdraw you from the course." And if you get withdrawn, like pass, fail, you can just do it again. Withdrawn means expulsion. So I got expelled from uni in my second year.
What?
All because he had, I put it down to short man syndrome.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was just a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And he said to me, "You're a detriment to, you're a liability to the kids. You shouldn't be a teacher. You should think about doing something else."
Yeah.
And I was like,
That's so full on.
like, and there was no prior warning. There was, and my supervisor passed me. So I was like, what the fuck?
So you like you know you're doing well, and then all of a sudden you get this complete contradictory.
So that fucked me up
Yeah,
mentally.
it would do, yeah.
That really cooked me. 3 months of battling.
Yeah.
Back and forth at uni. And the girlfriend at the time, she helped me with it. So huge shout outs to her because she carried me through that.
Yeah.
And it was fucked because I thought, this is it. I'm just going to do personal training.
Yeah.
And we got it overturned, and there was a lot of fucking around, a lot of due diligence that wasn't.
Yeah. Did they ever like look into him?
So they didn't look into him. They looked into the school, the dean of the education system in the university that I went to.
Yeah.
Years later, I heard that he lost his job because he's a piece of shit.
Okay.
So I was very happy about that.
So it's like the command just
the whole apparently the whole cohort stood up against him saying, "No, you're fucked."
Yeah.
So he got fucked off, which is great.
Yeah.
Because I feel better about that because he almost, I wouldn't say ruined my life, but I was walking on eggshells for years after that. I'm better now.
Because I don't want to do. I want to let the people down.
Like, yeah. Well, imagine doing something and you think you're doing well.
You're doing
one
it for
guy's doing
people
well,
as
and
well.
then out of nowhere, someone else from a higher position goes, "No, you're out."
Yeah.
With no warning.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm very glad that I had the right support group at the time.
Yeah.
And it built resilience, like huge resilience. So that helped me. But for like the next 2-3 years, anytime I was working with someone, for someone,
You had
I was
this
like,
trauma.
well, yeah, but it helped me in a way because I was making sure that I was good.
Yeah.
I was like, is there anything else? Is there anything else?
Yeah.
Like, are you happy? Almost to the point where I'm annoying them.
Yeah.
You know? So that was a good thing in a way for me to make sure that I was doing the right job, checking in.
Which would you say is like important because you said you kind of would fail certain things and you were like half in it, half out. So was this like a thing you actually needed?
Yeah.
Overall?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. But it fucked with my confidence.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't confident with what I was doing.
Yeah.
Because I always needed that validation.
Yeah.
You know, to talk about daddy issues almost. But years later, I'd found out, and this helped me a lot, that a lot of the teachers that had worked with him, most of them thought he was a piece of shit.
Yeah. Some
of the students that went to that school that I had later found out that he taught, no one liked him, and I was like,
banana.
So it wasn't me.
Yeah, you're not crazy.
It wasn't just me. It was just
good.
I just got a shit hand dealt to me, and it was just fucked.
Yeah.
So, but I came out of it. I got it overturned. Went all the way to the dean of the of the university, and she goes, "You're fine. This guy's a dickhead." I'm like, "Thanks."
That's so.
She didn't say that, by the way, but she meant it. But yeah,
you could tell.
2016, 2017 was a little bit easier because I got back into footy.
Yeah.
2017 was again, I was finishing my degree and I was about to start getting my relief lessons, which means I didn't have as much time for my personal training business. The best thing about the personal training business was the fact that I could set my own hours. So anytime a new university schedule would be coming in, I'd be like, right, I need to be at uni at 9 on this day. So therefore, everyone comes in between 5:30 and 8.
Yeah.
And then in the afternoon, if the training schedule changes for footy, whichever days I'm at footy, no personal training.
Yeah.
But the
You
other
just set it
days,
like
I'm like, after they finish work, come in from 4 up until 8, be 4 hours worth of work. And then some days, Sundays, I would be doing work because Saturdays is for footy. So that was like my schedule for 4 or 5 years. And then 2017, I had another injury, crooked my ankle, real bad.
Through footy again?
Through footy.
Yeah.
And it happened like 2 weeks before my final prac finished.
Yeah.
But fortunately, I did enough to actually pass that time.
Yeah.
And then I quit footy.
Yeah.
It was a decision that I made. And then I obviously got the relief lessons, and then I got my my personal training business. I was like, glass ceiling. Do I push through and get a gym?
Yeah.
And then by that time, we had all these new gyms coming up. Like Good Life was pushing.
Yeah.
Renouf Fitness opened up around the corner, which took all of my leads, which is fine because I kind of was complacent by then anyway, and I didn't really give a shit.
Yeah.
And that was my giveaway.
Because you'd been doing it for what? How many years at that point?
Yeah, 5, 6 years. Yeah.
Which is what you said. You said you
Yeah.
don't intend to stay that long. Yeah.
And I had my core. I got 2 inquiries this year.
Still.
Somehow. I have no idea fucking how. But I can't figure out a way to delete my Facebook page off of it.
Yeah, it's always linked. I've got one with an old Facebook page of mine.
Yeah. But 2018 after that, actually halfway through 2017 was like a clean slate.
Yeah.
I had 1 more semester left of uni, which I was traumatized of doing by myself because my relationship failed with my previous girlfriend, the girlfriend that I was with for a while.
And how long were you guys?
5 years.
Yeah, true. Okay, that's full on. Yeah.
You know, that's a story, like a personal story, but we just went right for each other.
Yeah,
like
happens.
At the end of the day, I was wanting to be this kind of crazy person that wanted to do different things at a moment's notice. And I don't feel like she wanted that.
Yeah.
She wanted me to be someone a little bit more structured.
Yeah.
And now I'm a little bit more ground.
Yeah.
I'm still crazy as fuck. Like the shit I do on TikTok, I definitely know that that relationship wouldn't have worked with.
Yeah.
So
hold you back at some points as well.
Yeah. You know, just weren't the right people.
Yeah.
That's how I
Which
put
is
it down
fine.
to.
Yeah.
And then second half of 2017, I was on my own, and I was like, I had a fucking cast
You're
on my leg.
in the trenches, eh?
I'm back in the trenches, doing my university study by myself, shitting myself because I was like, how the fuck am I going to do this?
Yeah.
And I did it,
Got the
HDs and
PT.
Ds. HDs and Ds. I did it myself.
Wow.
Right?
Gave you
And
that confidence.
Yeah.
You can do this by yourself.
yeah. You need to eat shit. You need to be bottom.
Yeah.
You need to be hitting rock bottom sometimes to remind yourself that you are capable, and also to remind yourself don't become complacent because shit can just disappear the next day.
Yeah.
So that was a huge year for me. 2018 was rock solid. Like it was fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of just me going, fuck yeah, let's do teaching.
Yeah.
Did
Is
a
that
lot more
full
photography.
time? The teaching at
No,
that
not
point?
full time. Not yet.
Yeah.
But
That was the
towards-
goal.
Yeah.
You're working
Oh,
towards it. Yeah.
But yeah, towards the end of 2018, I had a full-time job.
Yeah.
And then 2019, I was just all in on photography.
Yeah.
I
Doing
wasn't
weddings primarily? Or?
No, wasn't doing weddings yet. I was doing my just fun hobby photography. I was doing my Sev's tours,
Yeah.
taking people around that followed me on Instagram. I had like only 2,000 followers back then. But
Yeah. Was that all through PT you accumulated the 2,000 followers?
nah, this was just mates and randoms on the thing on Instagram.
Yeah, yeah.
And when the stories came out, Instagram stories, I just started going, hey guys, if anybody at all out there is following me and wants to come to the city and take photos, fuck it.
Yeah.
Come along. And I had no idea that anybody was going to go, yeah, I'm keen. Within 2 weeks, I had someone wanting to come in every day.
Yeah.
To the point where my wife now, Sabine, at the time, she was like, you're spending every night, you're going out. Like, I don't mind, but
What's going on?
Can you chill? No, not what's going on. She knew what was going on. Like, whatever. But she goes, can you like take one day off?
Yeah.
So we can hang out? I was like, yeah, true. And then I was like, yeah, this is going to be very time consuming for me very quickly for no like return, even though I was building something.
Yeah.
3 months later, I had an event that a guy that organised it with me, Nick, shout outs to Nick Buchanan. He and I made this 120 people event.
Yeah.
Rocked up and we did like a Sev's tours sort of thing.
Yeah.
We called it Perth Ports Walk.
Right.
And we did 3 of them. And we had like...
And this is connected with the photography at that
point.
Yeah.
So I built a network of all the creators and all the up and coming, models and influencer people in
what
that
year
space.
Was that?
2018?
Yeah,
2018, 2019. Yeah, that was...
And also like that, you would have had that intro to Instagram stories and having and seeing like in real time organic reach.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
And that's when I discovered TikTok and started pumping that out.
Yeah.
And there was another time actually where I was invited to be in this creative group.
Yeah.
And that it didn't fall through. They kicked me out of it eventually. But because I was going, TikTok's the way, guys. TikTok's the way. And
did you feel crazy at that point because there was just heaps of kids at that point?
Nah.
And there was a lot of people, or a lot of the people like business owners.
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, yeah, a little bit because I remember this one girl, she had like 40,000 followers at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I know her. I was like, man, she's cool. She's doing well. She's doing so good. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, how do you get 40,000 followers on TikTok? That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then 100 videos later, I had 500 followers. I was like, fuck. But I wasn't doing it for the followers.
Yeah.
I was looking back at my videos. I would binge watch my own shit. I'd just be like, this is great.
Yeah.
This is great. This is fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to just keep going. And then eventually, all of a sudden, I leapfrogged her and I had the most followers of anybody that I knew on TikTok.
Yeah.
And then I met this girl called Demi. She had like 500, 600,000 followers on TikTok at the time.
Yeah.
She's like 5 million right now.
Far
Yeah. But I was like, I hung out with her, and then what she was doing wasn't kind of my vibe.
Yeah. I
But I was mates with her, and I met a few people from her. Yeah. And what actually happened with her is one of her friends, his dad ended up becoming one of my mentors.
Yeah.
And this guy's like elite in like investing, business, and things like that. He's a VC here in Perth. The man's a god. Like he put me on a at the end of 2019, the turn of to 2020.
Yeah.
He put me onto a new mindset of what money really means, like rich dad, poor dad sort of shit, but like even more kind of tailored.
What would you say, like 2-3 of the biggest key mindset shifts you had from that interaction? Because it really does take someone who is that far ahead to like, it just blows your mind.
It was just a good timing. So he said, what are you doing to buy your time back? Okay. And I mention this all the time on social media now. What are you doing to buy your time back? And most people won't understand. Most people won't get it. Most people won't take action.
Yeah.
But I'm there to put it out there because I know what it feels amazing when you click. When I clicked at the time, it was... So I was telling you about my wedding photography business. Yeah. So the wedding photography business just came about because I got invited to be a second shooter, and I was like, fuck it, I'll give it a go. I didn't want to do it, but there was no risk because the first shooter was going to carry. And then, I actually liked it and built that business up. And by the end of by the start of 2020, I had a few bookings. I'm taking a year off of teaching, and I was like, fuck yeah. I'm going to make more money as a wedding photographer than I am a teacher. And if I could do that, I'll leave teaching because I only work on weekends.
That was kind of a key thing. You were like, well, if again, saving your time, you saw like this opportunity that your time was being leveraged doing this more so than you had thought.
Yeah. So
was that like what did that feel like when you started like getting those clients and you're like, my paychecks are this amount from this amount of hours? Yeah. Like, what was that like?
Early on, it was a bit tedious because I was like, right, how can I match my 75 grand salary?
Yeah.
And I broke it down, go, right, 75 grand, what does that look like in clients? So if I'm charging, I don't know, X amount of money, how many clients do I want to work with to make that 75 grand or more? Let's say 100 grand.
Yeah.
if I'm charging $2,000 per client to make 100 grand, that's 50 clients. You know, 50 clients to make 100 grand. Fuck,
One a
that's
week.
heaps.
Yeah.
It's one a week.
Yeah.
But I'm only working one full day and then maybe half day of editing, as opposed to 5 days a week plus. You know.
Yeah.
I was like, no, 50's worth it.
Yeah.
And then my business coach that I met later on, who's actually a friend of mine from school,
Yeah.
that used to live with me, Kieran, big shout out. He said to me, "What's your sales pipeline?" And this was like end of 2020, after COVID. I was like, 12 months? He's like, you're booked out for 12 months. Double your rates. No, triple your rates. I was like, triple them? What the fuck? He's like, do it.
What's the worst going to happen?
What's the worst that can happen? So I did it. 4 weeks later, I had 3 bookings. And I was like, what?
So you get
6 grand.
3x the amount
6 grand.
with this nothing different.
No, well,
Yeah.
I
I
added
mean, like, obviously.
I added a bit of value, but the value was more kind of just my experience, new experience that I accumulated. But then all of a sudden I'm making 6 grand. I'm not making 100, I'm making 150.
Yeah.
I've doubled my teaching salary within a year.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing that my VC man, Tony, said to me was, what are you doing to buy your time back? And it's great that you're doing your wedding stuff. It's great, but what if you don't want to do it 10 years from now?
Which is a fair point.
And it hit me straight away because I look back the last 10 years, I hadn't stuck to anything for 2, 3, 4 years maximum. And I was like, fuck, this guy's right. And if I do the same thing at the end of 4 or 5 years of weddings, what have I got to show for it?
And keep hitting those glass ceilings.
Unless I exit, right? I didn't sell my personal training business. I didn't sell my high school teaching skills.
Yeah.
I've got them and I'm using them now. But it was like, fuck, what do I do with my time now to buy it back permanently?
Yeah.
Permanently, like escape the rat race sort of shit.
Yeah.
And
is that something you had thought of throughout your years?
Never.
Like escaping
never.
The Matrix is popular now.
No.
So, no.
Well, that was the me realizing that day was the day I took the red pill.
Yeah.
And I was.
You just see everything.
Blew me open, and now I see it everywhere. I'm like, fuck. Are more people going to start taking this? What happens?
Is that a driver as well? You wanting to help other people now see that?
I do want to help them, but I haven't done it myself yet.
Yeah.
Fully.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing what I love.
Yeah.
Which is great. It's a Wednesday 10 a.m. on a weekday, and we're chatting about my life, and you know I've got help. I've got Ryan here helping. Shouts to Ryan. Yeah. He's hot. Whereas before I'd be on holiday, doing my photos and stuff, waiting for the school year to come in. Yeah. Kind of being excited, but no, I would be dreading it eventually because of politics. And making
your time is required.
And making $2.5 grand a fortnight.
Yeah.
A fortnight.
Yeah.
Right. Again, being transparent. They say don't talk about money too much, but it's a driver. Like, it's not a flex, it's an inspiration. Yeah. I did 2 videos for 2 different brands since the start of the year. And it's the 4th of January today. And I've made $3 grand already.
Just the power of that. Leveraging your experience.
Yeah.
Timesing by.
Yeah. But people are going to hear that and go, fuck, that's awesome. I want to be a creator. And then that doesn't happen to them 6 months from now.
Yeah.
And they're like, Sev, you're full of shit. I'm like, yeah, but did you not listen to my whole story?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? Like, this didn't just start 2018.
No.
This started in 2009 and 10 when you're trying all of the things. Yeah. Because you've had all these experiences that have shaped it. You're building networks, going out, handing your resumes, like going hardcore, doing things that are uncomfortable. And you built that up.
And I still don't feel like I've worked hard enough.
Yeah, yeah.
I still feel like I'm not at my full capacity. I feel like I'm like 30%, 40% at best. And the difference between being more closer to 100% is just being organized and having a little bit more of a discipline on the habits that I need. But yeah, now fast forward to 2021 was good. Obviously, everybody wanted to know how I got my business from 12 months pipeline to 24 months. I was like, TikTok, organically, drop the mic. And now businesses are coming to me. I got someone this afternoon coming to me to teach his whole group how to do it. Yeah. And I'm just like, this is fucking cool because now I'm going away from weddings at the end of this year. I'm going on hiatus. So see, Tony was right. because I've fallen in love with something else that's more appealing to me that gets
Along
me
the way
quicker.
too.
Yeah.
You wouldn't
Yeah.
have reached this
Yeah.
without that.
So if I had my time again in my 20s, knowing that I know now, I would enjoy myself still, but I would hyper focus on one thing more than anything. And I would definitely focus on business first out of anything else. I wouldn't focus on 9 to 5. I would be fucking grinding for a business.
Yeah.
And I would be looking at how I can grow that business exponentially, because it can be done. Any business can be done.
Ask the right questions.
You got to ask the right questions.
How?
You got to know the right people. You got to educate yourself enough to know what you want to do with the business.
Yeah.
But the main thing about business is you have to love what it is you're doing in the business. If you're just picking up an e-commerce drop shipping thing because you want to make a lot of money, that's going to fuck you up.
Yeah. And you might earn a lot of money, but what is it if you get to the point where you're like, oh, what do I do now?
I know dudes that have done so well in e-com, but have done nothing with their money but spend it on dumb shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll just do another drop shipping thing. Oh, I'll start teaching someone else how to do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, great, but what are you doing to buy your time back?
Yeah. And then what?
What are you doing to buy your time back?
Yeah.
Like, do all of that in your 20s, buy your time back, and in your 30s onwards, you're playing with fucking house money, which is dividends from shares or rent from your houses that you have, or your equity that you've kept after you've sold the business. Yeah. You've kept 5%, sold it for fucking 5 million. Yeah. And then the revenue coming in is, I don't know, 5 million a year or something, and you're making 5% off that without doing anything. That's what people should be doing. Do people have that in them? Most people no. Is that because of lack of passion? No, it's because of lack of understanding.
Knowledge,
lack of knowledge, the matrix shit, you know? Yeah, if you find a 9 to 5 and you love it and you're happy with $2.5 grand, $3 grand, whatever, per month or fortnight or whatever, and you're happy with 40 to 60 grand a year, that's fine.
Yeah. This is for the people that are not happy with that.
Here is the stat, though. 96.3% of Australians, when they retire at fucking 65, 68 years old, within 4 years of retirement, they have to start downgrading their lifestyle that they work so hard to have. Unless you keep working, you cannot sustain your lifestyle. 96.3% of Australians. That's
too much.
That's fucked.
Yeah.
Like, imagine retiring, getting that golden handshake, your super runs out. What's it out? You have to go downgrade to a unit, living in with the other fellow old people in the old people village. And again, if that's your thing, fuck yeah, go for it. You know, hey, say hello to Margaret down the road. Hope her back's doing well. But if you want to be around your children and your grandchildren, and obviously look after your health and, you know, all this other shit.
You need that now. That's what I came to. It's like the middle class is so large now that like it's almost in some case, I've got to be careful with this, but it's almost in some cases better to be earning less than like what the middle class is, because you can get government benefits.
Yeah,
you got single mums who are trying to work. They even just with their job is still not enough. Yeah. And then with that money, it's like they can't, pay for food. So then they go to get Centrelink, but then because they're working too much, they can't get enough from Centrelink.
Complacency.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Yeah. And it's like, for me, it's like if like what I'm working for, it's if I just go get a job, which is fine, and I could do that, but it's like when I'm older and I want to get a house or I want to get a car, even if I'm on like top earning 250,000 to 300,000, you get taxed 40 something percent of that, and then you've got left over. If you got a house mortgage, that's like 20%. You got a car, less. You got say 2-3 kids, take them through school. Like how much is it for a kid to go through school now?
Exactly.
And then it's like, okay, well then what if your mum gets sick?
Yeah. So what are you doing to buy
what
your
do
time
you have
back?
left back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that comes down to, what are you doing to buy your time back? Are you creating generational wealth? Yeah. So yeah, we're going into a long conversation here. We might take a break. And again, this episode is sponsored by Hunt and Brew. Good, thanks. All right. We're back. We don't normally have breaks, but we do now. And reminding you that if you don't have good iced coffee, which you don't if you don't drink this, Hunt and Brew, because Hunt and Brew have got fuck all sugar in them. No added sugar. It's legit. Scientifically, this is Peru Mocha. They've got many other flavors, including Colombian and Brazilian and Australian. The only iced coffee in the world that brews and farms their own coffee beans and makes it into a drink that is purchased at your local quality shopping centre. Good, thanks. Right, we are back with our guy, KOREE. KOREE is hosting today, asking me the questions. Collaborative podcasts where you post them on multiple channels and, you know, put them out.
All the
Could
rave.
be a thing.
I
Could
think
be a
so.
thing. I reckon
Has
it's
to
definitely a thing. So yeah, talking about my life story. I'm alive still, done well, 32 now, and I am going more into the consulting stuff. I'm going to round off my wedding photography for the end of this year. I've got 3 domestic weddings, which was a huge goal for me when I was getting into it. And now that I have them this year, I'm excited for them, but at the same time, I'm like looking forward to finishing this year in that space and moving on to the next thing, which is creative consulting and content creator advisory. So my biggest thing, I just feel it in my bones that most businesses will be hiring an in-house content creator, whether it's part of their internal marketing team or they're sick of agencies and freelancers burning them, where they're getting fuck all results. It's like in-house content creator, give them a salary. I'll come in and optimize their workflow and making sure that you know what KPIs and what sort of output you should be expecting from them and if they're good or not. And also headhunting, like recruiting, helping them recruit. I did one stint last year, 2022, for a dentist, and I recruited someone that I met off of TikTok that I built a solid relationship with.
That you knew they could help in their domain.
I knew that they would be able to do it.
And they have.
And they've done it.
Yeah.
They've done well. They've been working there for 6 months now almost, and they were invited to the Christmas party down south, and I was like, fuck yeah.
That's great.
I'm no longer advising them because they wanted to do a different direction in terms of my strategy. And if that happens, I'm out because I don't want to, my energy's drained. But I am so stoked that I helped him, and he hadn't had a full-time job in ages. He was just doing his own creative thing and doing, you know, little bits of paid stuff. But then now for his day job, he's still getting to create. He doesn't have to be in front of the camera, but he utilizes his skills that he's developed himself out of his passion to be able to help a brand, company, business. And I'm like, that's going to be massive in 2023, and I want to be at the forefront. I want to be like, right, this is what I want the companies and the CEOs and the directors, this is what I reckon they will do. They'll be like, right, we need an in-house content creator. Enough's enough. We need to fucking start getting serious about content, TikTok, Instagram, Reels, whatever. Who the fuck knows what they're doing? Sev, can you do it for us? No, I don't want to do it for you. I can't do it for everybody. Okay, what do we do then? I'll like recruit someone. Can you help us? Yes, let's put out an ad and I'll help you with the interview process. They interview someone, they hire, I help them. Oh, this guy looks like he knows what he's doing. His portfolio looks legit and they've got some experience. They don't know what they're looking for because they're not marketers. They're not content creators. There's a huge gap.
Yeah.
Then I'll be like, all right, let's put him on a trial. I'll sit him down, show him the system that I've developed and go, right, this is how you do it, blah, 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 blah. And off you go.
Yeah.
Let's see what you got. Give them a couple of weeks trial, see if they've got it in them, see if they like the brand. That's the hardest part. Because if they're working for someone all day, every day for the one thing, it might get boring for them.
Yeah, for sure.
But if I can teach them, one, not to get bored of it and really sustain it and create lots of content for 12 months, that's huge value to the company.
Yeah.
And I know exactly how to do it. I've done it. So now it's just a waiting game.
Yeah. So that's going to be the exit strategy of the photography. Go into Would you say it's more of
a pivot?
an agency?
Yeah, it is.
You're going to turn it into an agency. So
I don't like the word agency because of like a lot of agencies are full of shit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good agencies out there, but they're like a full service sort of thing. But my biggest pet peeve about it is agencies. You turn the tap on with an agency, and then the leads come in. Marketing is all about leads, right? Yeah. You get the leads come in for your business, you get the sales, you get the money, your profit, you keep the agency going, right? But what about if you could do it organically? What about if you can do it all internally?
Which is, would you say TikTok?
Not anything. Any platform,
producing
whatever the current platform is, this year, next decade, doesn't matter. Wherever the attention is, you need to have someone that is in-house that knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing most people not know how to do it. They're doing it poorly. They're not putting the message across. They're pushing product. They're not pushing emotion. You need to push emotion.
What have you seen in these examples through the businesses you've worked with that they are missing? Like, is
human connection.
Okay, so
a mascot, an ambassador, a face of familiarity of the brand, not just pushing out a product going, hey, this is we can build a house. Yeah, great. No shit, you're a residential builder. Why should I pick you over someone else? Oh, your salesperson seems approachable and not going to be pushy for me to sign the red the dotted line. Oh, your builders actually are really quirky, funny. They don't cut corners, and you're reputable. You have a lifetime guarantee or whatever they put in there, but there's a face to it. And they can argue, oh, but what if the face, shoots up some fucking drugs or something on the weekend and gets done for it, and they're a face of our brand? I'm like, well, that's where you bring me in to make sure I can judge their character and not going to fuck it up for you.
And so what about for the everyday business owner that's like maybe listening to this and they're not at that level yet where they're going to get an in-person creator? What is it? What's something that you would give to maybe when you're first starting out, if you were running a business, to get that authenticity across and not push a product? Because I think it's a new area, right?
Yeah, document yourself.
Yeah.
Make a video going, what are you doing today?
Yeah.
What's the product that you're starting? What's the business that you're starting, and why? What and why? What before why? Everyone's saying you need to know your why. Yeah, you do, but you need to know the what first.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a why, if you don't have a what, then what the fuck? Why the fuck are you doing anything? So, small business, starting up, you are doing X activity, product or service.
Yeah.
It's either a product or a service. Sometimes it's both.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Why are you doing it? If you want to try and do it for an exit, most people should be doing it for an exit, but it needs to be something from a passion. It needs to be an obsession, because the authenticity is easier to showcase. If you're just pushing out the product, it's still possible. Like e-commerce do it every day, but you need to push out your authenticity, the emotion, which brings in engagement, exclusivity. Those 3 E's. There's a 4th E. I always forget it. Engagement, emotion, exclusivity, and But yeah.
But that's the most important, you'd say, is putting that across and documenting.
Documenting.
Yeah.
If you can't create, you can you document.
Yeah.
Just
This is big Gary V thing you said.
Yeah. He says it all the time,
Yeah,
and I've been doing that since the beginning.
Yeah.
I've been documenting my Sev's tours.
Yeah.
I was doing my, hey, I'm going out, taking photos in the city.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to come, be my guest.
Yeah.
Not go in the city, come with me. Like.
Yeah.
It's like open arms.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you mean.
It's an open loop. It's an open-ended question. It's like, hey, if you want to come, let me know. I'm going to be here regardless. And with a business saying, hey, I offer this product. If you feel like you need it, here it is. Here's why I think it'll be good for you. Here's what differentiates it from the rest. Here's the problem that it solves. That's what people have, to really talk about. And here's why I'm so passionate about solving that problem for you. And they tell you, generally the better ones will tell you their original story of the problem that was for them. Fuck, there's this problem that I have. Oh my God, I was so frustrated. So I made this product. Holy fuck, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
This is the consumer talking. Holy fuck, I can relate to that because I'm in that same position. I'm going to buy that.
And that's how people are shopping now.
That's it. Yeah,
it's,
relatable.
It's different.
And you just repurpose that multiple times. My Blink 182 tattoo, right?
Yeah.
I made a video about it. I got this tattoo when I was 20 years old. This tattoo, the colours were added in a year, 2 years ago almost.
Yeah.
I made a TikTok about getting the colours. I got a wedding client from that.
That's unreal.
Yeah.
That's a good snippet.
Yeah.
Right there. Because that just shows you the way we need to think about marketing's changed.
Yeah.
It's no longer, what's engaging on the television that I'm forced to watch.
Yeah.
It's like, what am I organically coming across?
You're not
through
talking
my
about your
interest.
niche.
Yeah.
You're talking about your target audience. Who's
Yeah.
your target audience? My target audience for weddings is I want someone listening to Blink 182 during the wedding, so I'm
Yeah.
fucking vibing and singing along with them.
Yeah.
And then they see the same thing.
And you've got that instant connection.
Instant connection, right? So with any business, you want to talk to your mate, you're the consumer mate. Like when they come to your door and about to hand over the product, what's the connection that you can talk about? And people do this all the time, sales calls. They go, hey, how's your day going? You know, blah, 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 blah. They try and unwind something that the person on the other side of the phone, that they reveal something. And a really good salesperson would, you know, talk complete shit and go, oh my God, yes, I love the Eagles, the West Coast. Oh my God.
My Uncle Bob used to play. Yeah.
Oh man, you know, they find that common ground, which opens the door up, right? But that's a sales call.
And that's essentially what you're doing through. So that makes actually a lot of sense then.
Before a sales call, they need to find you to get on the sales call. You do that through marketing. You assume that you know what your target audience enjoys and likes because that's the target audience you want anyway.
Yeah.
Like for wedding photography, for example, I like farm weddings because the people are so cool. They're so down to earth as opposed to real bougie weddings in the city where everything has to be perfect and in churches and stuff.
Yeah.
And I still did a few of those, and those people still, like a lot of couples, all my couples have been great. But the ones that don't book me aren't my clients.
Yeah.
And I'm not upset that I missed out on them because they're not my clients, because I didn't target my content to them. I've heard people say, yeah, we didn't choose you. You're a bit too out there. You're a bit full on. You're a bit, oh no, I could do soft. No, I can't. Fuck that. You hire the most introverted photographer you can, who's nice and gentle, nice and quiet, you know, barely a mouse, you know. You can hear them, and they will be whatever you want them to be. But this is where educational content comes in for your business.
Yeah.
What does it mean if you get a really quiet photographer? You're going to have 200 people rock up to your wedding. A lot of them won't want a quiet photographer. They want someone that commands, goes, hey, set yourselves up like this and let's have a smile, and not just go, all right, guys, smile.
Cheese.
You know, and I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
And that's finding the pain points, potential pain points through education and through previous experiences. One of my favorite questions on a sales call with a couple is, you ever been to a wedding? And they're like, yeah. What was the wedding photographer like? Barely saw them. Didn't know they were there. And I'm like, can you remember the photos? They're like, no, not really. And they're like, is that what you want for your wedding? Is that the sort of kind of thing that you want your guests to remember you by? They're like, nah, I want them to remember my wedding because my wedding's fucking going to be sick. Yeah. I'm like, yes, exactly. So that's where you have to keep remembering. So I educated them then and there. So then when they do go to another photographer to shop around, they're not going to get that same kind of education or that. You know?
So like transferring that to like content creation.
Yeah.
Say you're a cafe.
Yeah.
What would an educational type of post be versus one that's documenting?
Okay, you start with creating something that appeals to your audience, your target audience. What sort of audience you want in your cafe? Do you want old people? Do you want young people? Do you want anyone in between? Or do you want everybody?
Yeah.
Going for everybody is hard, but it means you can be a little bit more flexible with your content, right? You can do all that and the other.
Yeah.
But most people like a specific demographic depending on the area, right?
Yeah, for sure.
If your cafe is in a nice bougie place, you're going to kind of probably go in that sort of realm. You got to figure out what they talk about, what they like, what they are interested in, what they do, and go from there. You know, a big play for cafes is dog friendly, right? You're near a park that has lots of dogs. You become a dog friendly cafe. They're all going to come to you before or after or during their dog walk, right?
Yeah.
Kill it.
Makes heaps on West Coast Highway. And
oh my God, yeah, absolutely. So how would I make content for a cafe? I would talk about what they have, how they got it. I would talk about their baristas.
Yeah.
I would get their baristas to talk about their expertise, and I would talk about the person that you meet at the counter when you're ordering your coffee. There's a guy that's very close, that owns a cafe very close to my house, and I don't go there anymore. The coffee wasn't that bad either, and I had a negative interaction with this person because my dogs were there, and his dog's friendly there. They have water bowl and stuff. My Dalmatian's a bit dopey, and he kind of jumped up on this bin that's kind of hanging on a hook, and the bin kind of toppled over. It didn't make any mess or anything, and I was just like, oh, fuck, my bad, put it back up. But the guy inside, like, made a scene, like, oh, for fuck's sake, like, swore and everything.
Oh, no.
I don't give a fuck about if you swear, but just that kind of vibe.
Yeah, you just will not. It's not good.
Yeah. And I'm just like, that vibe sucked.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's it. I'm not there. But if you can show a good vibe on the online, on social media, you're going to have a good time. But you got to back that up. If I come to your cafe and you're fucking nowhere near what you're like on social media, that's just like, it's like selling bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? So, and like people do it naturally. And the winning ticket is if you have a charismatic staff that aren't afraid to help your business, to put yourself out there. Hence why you need a full-time content creator or even
I was going to say, it sounds like the hardest bit is actually getting the whole team on board with this new way.
It is very hard. Yeah. And some businesses tell me, oh, I don't want to feel vulnerable if my main staff is at the forefront of all the content and then they leave. And I'm like, okay, but what are you going to do in the meantime? Nothing.
Yeah.
That's not helpful.
Yeah, I was going to say, how do you overcome that? Well, that's like exactly right. Yeah, what do you do instead?
And then I rebut to them going, well, if they leave, you're obviously going to be looking for more recruitment. The recruitment will come in. They'll be like, fuck, that's a good, the people that are applying for the job, they'll be like, that's a really fun place to work. I see all their TikToks all the time. I want to work there. And because they know that they're expected to be in the content.
So it's going to change the whole way in which we even employ people now. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's massive.
So employment plays will become more popular on social media. They're already doing it.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, if your mascot that you've appointed as your barista being the quirky person, they decide to move on, you're not vulnerable. Just have a new person. It's like a TV show with a character that finishes at the end of the season or gets killed off.
Yeah.
Another one comes along.
But it's like people now already know you because of them too.
Yeah. But the main way to avoid that fear is the owner or the director or the CEO becomes the mascot, because then they've got all time. And the best thing, and this is what like Alex Hormozi does.
So good.
He's built a business without being online himself at the forefront of the camera. And now he's realized, how the fuck do I go further? I'm going to put myself online, give all the value that I can, and people are going to love my stuff. They're going to learn from it. The value's free. He's got nothing to sell to anybody. But his subtle call to action in his bio, he never says it in his TikToks or whatever, but in his bio, he goes, acquisition.com, we help businesses go from 3 million to 30 million, right? And people that watch the content organically go, holy fuck, what does this guy do? I got a $3 million business. I wouldn't mind scaling it to 30. This guy knows what he's talking about. Bang, inquire, qualify, sell. Well. That's what every business needs to do. That's what every CEO needs to do. They need to talk about their experience.
What do you think are the biggest barriers to businesses taking that step?
They don't have a content creator.
Okay.
And they don't have an agency that understands what it is they need to actually do.
Yeah, because it's so new, eh?
Yeah, the agencies, they just want, and no disrespect, but this is how I observe things from the marketing industry. I've only been fully into it for a whole calendar year. Last year was my first full year in marketing. But all I see agencies doing is, let's get the client, let's get the money, let's cut the margins, and let's deliver what we say we're going to deliver. Oh, by the way, you need ad spend. Otherwise, it's not going to work. What the fuck? Where's the organic play? The organic play is actually cheaper.
No, you got that creative juices, that creative energy you can use. You don't just have to have money.
You have a library. Yeah. You have a library of content that's there.
Yeah.
You ever find a TV show 3 or 4 seasons down the track?
Yeah.
You ever discovered a TV show?
You just watch it back.
Right? So why not
so
create
good.
fucking 500 pieces of content across a year with a talented creative person, put it on all of your socials, 4 or 5 of them. I don't give a fuck if it's a LinkedIn or Facebook. Put it all across consistently. Talk to the audience that's you're targeting with emotion, document or create. I don't give a fuck. And then you're going to have people that discover you like that organically. And the tap's always going to be on because the content's organically there. They're going to find that content. They're going to binge watch the previous episodes. And then the algorithm's going to pick up going,
Why are
hey,
people watching
someone's
this?
binge watching all this. We're gonna sprinkle it out a little bit again. And that's why videos go re-viral. I had videos go 2-3 million views and then they stopped. A year later, bang, another fucking 3-4 million views. The algorithm picks it up going, oh, it's popular again.
So there's like two ways. You got like existing content that can be replayed. Like it's almost like a website. It's a new Web3 website is your social media pages.
Yeah.
And then you've also got the other which is leveraging trends and songs and things that are currently going on.
Do whatever.
Yeah, okay.
But that's what I mean. You've got to make an organic library because here's what I'm seeing. And people can shit on me if they want, but when you grab a marketing campaign and it relies on ad spend to target the audience, if it works, great. If your ROAS is positive, great. Awesome. But once it finishes, it finishes.
It's done.
That's it.
Yeah, you're limited by the money.
Yes, it can have a flow-on effect, and people go, "Oh, remember that ad? Blah 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 blah." Yes, if you're good enough.
Yeah, like jingles.
like jingles or Old Spice or whatever.
Yeah.
But why not have an organic play when it's there anyway for people to discover? Because people like discovering things on themselves. They don't like ads anymore. They don't even like. I'm starting to see people not like organic ads that are not masked as ads, but they can tell because legally you have to say sponsored. And I'm seeing people as soon as they see sponsored, even though if the ad is good, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
they're like, no,
it's like you get a sales call and they're like, "Hey, do you have any minutes at the moment?" And you're like, it hung up immediately.
Exactly. People don't want that shit. They want more organic, and I feel that organic will really take over. And
that's awesome.
The cool thing about it is the Spark ads from TikTok, the viral videos, you get boosted, not as ads, just pushed out for more people, and that's going to be the more majority play. TikTok's been pioneering this for a long time. I remember talking about Spark ads early last year, and I was talking to people. I'm like, "Do you know what Spark ads are?" They're like, "No. What the fuck's a Spark ad?" Now everyone's Spark ad. So I love being early, but I also love like kind of thinking about stuff and saying, hey, this is what's going to happen. I haven't really had a chance to do that because I've just been observing. Yeah. Now I've finished observing and I'm like, organic's the play. Ads are parallel, but they're no longer at the forefront. Organic has to be the main thing. Yeah. Because that's the connection that people have. And now people... I'm going to segue you to the chat GPT.
I was just about to say chat GPT.
Now people go, oh, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to write.
You have no excuse.
Ask a bot. Yeah. Ask a bot. But, and this is what I'm wanting to push out this year as well. I want to help people with that. Because I've been tinkering it for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, no, me too. Yeah, it's so good.
Obsessed. And I've built SOPs for so many different things. Yeah. I've built a whole script structure. Yeah. Oh my God.
It's amazing. Yeah. I've been doing it myself for the personal development industry. You know, like it's insane.
It's crazy. Yeah. So now that's happened. The one thing that I'm going to be waiting for is automated editing. I'm seeing a few AI websites that are saying, we've got AI editing platform. I'm like, yeah, but it's just doing masking of this and that and making green screens easier. That's not what I want. Yeah. I want to be able to grab a whole podcast and have the AI identify the most interesting things according to what we're talking about, but also based on what's happening in the world right now. So they can take that, snippet it, get rid of all the lulls, even fucking do the back and forth camera changes according to which wave went up during the person or identify the voice of the camera.
I feel like they should already have that. Like I've got to do that now with Adobe Premiere Pro.
It's not perfect yet. It's not perfect yet, but when it happens, this is all automated, right? Because this is what I said about YouTube earlier last month. YouTube posted, because YouTube's going to have a podcast tab now in February.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. What's going to happen, I reckon, is YouTube will have all these podcasts and it'll have an AI. Because YouTube's owned by Google. Google's going to be shitting themselves because of ChatGPT. They already are shitting
I
themselves.
don't think they are.
They
I
are
reckon
because they said we're gonna figure out if it's made by AI and we're not gonna push it out as SEO.
I've heard they've had a Google AI bot that's just superseded everything, and they have had it for like years. And they're just
Maybe.
like hiding behind, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the whole sentience thing that came out, the whistleblower that came out, and he's like, oh, this AI,
Oh yeah.
like, and
Who
then
knows?
like, oh, nothing's here.
Yeah, yeah. Who knows? But like, if ChatGPT existed years ago, which it did, by the way,
Yeah.
you wouldn't tell the masses, especially if you invented it yourself. You would sell the fish for as long as you possibly could, and then when it's time, when you've got enough fish that you've sold, and you've made enough money to buy a big fuck off boat, you're going to sell how to fish to everybody and make even more money. But if you sell how to fish first, it can potentially minimize your profit early on because everybody else will be fishing, right?
Yeah.
But that's also a play. I'm going to contradict myself here. If you do both at the same time, like at scale, you're going to win anyway because you're helping people. And it's like as a personal trainer. I wanted my clients to become self-sufficient. I wanted them to go to the gym and do their workouts and be accountable for themselves.
You didn't want to be the gatekeeper.
No.
Yeah.
But I know that accountability they liked me enough for me to be there with them. They also needed a new workout plan every month because they weren't qualified to do it themselves.
Could probably
They also
get AI
needed
to do that now.
Yeah. They also needed a professional to identify their movement patterns. AIs can't do that yet. Not in a very long time.
Yeah.
And that's why physios and sports physiologists are at the big time going to be okay.
Yeah.
Because you can get ChatGPT to ask you to make a workout. ChatGPT doesn't know about your chronic back pain. You could tell it, great. You can go a little bit more in depth with it, but visually, it needs physiologists are still clutch, right? Same with content creation. You can get it to write something, but it doesn't know the exact emotion, the exact feel that you want. Not yet. When it happens, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now we got the script, and we can tinker with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then next will be the editing.
Yeah.
The one thing that won't be made redundant for a long time is the actual content being created.
Yeah.
Yes, we've got lots of stock footage that can be used, but that's where the mascots, that's where ambassadors, that's where the brand familiarity will become clutch, because not only will people see the content and identify, oh, that's probably AI generated. Oh, that's deep fake fucking person. You know, it'll get better.
Yeah, you've seen the
But-
Elon ones.
Yeah. But it's the creators, the ones that are in front of the camera, and I'm talking real creators, not just fucking influencers, real creators. They'll be able to go, I can really sell this because I, one, I believe in it, and two, I'm authentic as fuck and I've got a lot to lose, right? So deep fakes will be like if they start talking about some dodgy shit, that's where deep fakes will become real sus. Because imagine someone made a deep fake about me and they were fucking pushing some real fucked up shit.
Whack.
You know?
Yeah.
That's fucked.
Yeah.
That could be a dangerous thing. And then it's like the whole verification thing will happen for that. It's like that ad isn't verified by me.
It's pretty terrifying, that side of it.
We could go down so many rabbit holes here, but I think ultimately creators, like proper passionate creators, will be the multi-millionaires of the future.
Yeah.
Because everything else is going to be so automated. There's going to be so much competition because AI is just making that happen. The main point of difference will be genuine human creators that understand the psychology and interaction and have that authenticity.
Because we still don't really understand creation. Elon, Einstein and that, they would do the whole fall asleep with their metal ball in their hand and drop it so they'd wake up and have, creative flow and things like that. It's like we still don't know how that works in our sleep cycles. And I mean, unless we don't really know how much AI can do, but
I'm keen to figure it out.
Yeah. No, it's very interesting though. Really interesting.
Yeah. What's happening for you for the next for 2023?
I want to do an event called, I'm putting it on record,
Yep.
Future Leaders Podcast, Future Leaders Summit.
Yep.
So I've got a few people that I've met through podcasting and
Cool.
just business mentors, and
Yeah.
get them all to speak and just kind of share what their future, understanding of, what things are at is going to be, and be more like a crossover between personal development and like a business seminar.
Smash it.
And then get a studio of some sort. This is wicked. Definitely
Yeah.
inspired me. So
Good.
be super keen to get a few things going 2023.
Cool.
Yeah.
And what's your biggest problem?
Biggest problem? Don't know yet. I haven't even come across that. I don't know problems yet. Just put the plan in and give it a crack. It's literally just put the plan in action, and whatever comes up. I'd say biggest problem probably finances, doing the studio, things like that. Yeah. Balancing time, which I know you've mentioned actually, that's an interesting one. How you balance creation, growing.
It's cooked.
Yeah.
It's being a CEO, or I don't even see it as that title yet. Doesn't feel it at
CEO
all.
of your life.
Yeah. No, but like for the company, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. But man, if you can figure it out, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you could tell yourself, your 18-year-old self, fresh out of high school, something, what would it be of value?
Would be when you feel doubt, it's just because you haven't planned enough, not a reason not to do it.
And how much planning is too much planning?
That's a good question too. I suppose you can get into that over analysis paralysis type of deal.
That's what I mean.
It's a balance, which I think comes with experience, which I'm still learning now. It's like a balance of not just running headfirst into things and then becoming overwhelmed, but or having unforeseen obstacles, but then also like not doing nothing.
Yeah.
And not having and getting that doubt because you're doing nothing.
Yeah. Make
like-
decisions
yeah.
quickly, but reflect on them as quickly as you can.
That's very succinct. Exactly that.
That's it. All right. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, thanks for the opportunity to interview and hear all your insights. And there's actually been some real juicy bits in here. And it's really good.
Yeah, I'll give you the content to make snippets of.
That'd be awesome.
It's your show.
Yeah, let's do it.
Thanks for coming in, and thanks for everybody listening at home. I'll leave you to sign off.
Yeah. All right, thanks everyone. Thanks, Sev. I guess we're doing a collaboration, so it's going to be on both of ours. You'll be able to find each other. But it's been great, and hopefully you guys all got something out of this.
As always, good thanks.
Thank you.